This week on Africa Weekly, we head to Madagascar, where poachers are threatening the country's forests and lemurs. Then we visit South Sudan, where money, guns and brides are fueling cattle wars. But first, let's take a look at the stories that made the headlines this week. Thousands of Malawians filled a stadium in the city of Blantyre to witness Peter Mutharika take the oath of office after he won the country's election on the 21st of May.
There is a time to argue and a time to agree. There is a time to pursue our personal goals and a time to pursue our collective national goal. This is the time to unite and develop this country.
But he's had to encourage opposition parties to accept the outcome as fraud allegations clouded the start of his second term. Mutharika was even speculated to have died during the campaign after he cancelled a series of appearances. But he proved he's very much alive by opening his speech saying, "I did not die." South Africa's newly sworn-in President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed more than 30,000 people who attended his inauguration in Pretoria, saying a new era has truly dawned.
I am humbled by the trust that you have bestowed upon me, and I'm also aware of the challenges our country faces, but I'm also alive to the fact that our people are filled with hope for a better tomorrow.
Ramaphosa became president last year through internal politics in the ANC and won a popular mandate in early May. Although he faces an uphill battle to drive through reforms in a country suffering from chronic jobless rates, inequality, crime and endemic corruption. And Azali Assoumani, the Comoran president, was yet another African leader to take office this week. This comes 2 months after his controversial re-election. He's pledged to take appeasement measures to quell accusations of election fraud. Madagascar's president, Andry Rajoelina, cast his vote in parliamentary elections, which are seen as the latest round in a bitter competition with his long-standing rival, Marc Ravalomanana. Beaten to the top job in December, Ravalomanana has been campaigning widely, determined to win what he's calling the third round of his feud with the president.
During this legislative campaign, I have acted transparently. I did not assist any candidates during their campaigns, and I didn't carry out any propaganda. Rather, it was the candidates who assisted me.
Zimbabwe's main opposition elected Nelson Chamisa as its next leader at its first Congress since the death of its revered founder, Morgan Tsvangirai. The move has boosted the party, which has been plagued by infighting since Tsvangirai's death and battered by an election defeat. In his opening address to the Congress, Chamisa said he will push for early national elections. Popular with the Movement for Democratic Change party, it remains to be seen whether he will inspire confidence in different sections of society. Sudanese workers protested in the capital Khartoum following a general strike, piling pressure on the military to hand power over to a civilian administration. Protesters called on the head of Sudan's new military council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, to cede power. Burhan took Sudan's helm in April when the army overthrew longtime leader Omar al-Bashir after months of countrywide protests against his iron-fisted rule. But almost 2 months after he was ousted, his generals still remain, despite pressure from protesters who have been camped outside the army headquarters in Khartoum calling for civilian rule.
Lemurs only exist naturally on the island of Madagascar, but if poaching and deforestation continue at their current rate, they may not exist at all. Owing to these man-made threats, 95% of lemur species are at risk of extinction. Here, in Voivul Forest in the east of the country, a privately funded task force has just discovered a dozen huts belonging to illegal loggers.
In this camp, there are about 100 people, women, children and the illegal loggers. We must demolish all the huts to make sure they don't return.
As well as destroying the lemur's natural habitat, these wood traffickers hunt and kill the animals for food.
They cut down all the trees, leaving only one in the middle. Then the lemur has nowhere to go. The traffickers shake the tree with the lemur in it, so it falls down and gets caught.
Elsewhere, vegetation gives way to scorched earth. This is where they burn rare woods to create coal, another damaging activity. Stéphane Descamps owns a hotel in the region. He's financing the task force to fight against the illegal poaching and logging.
They come, they put wedges underneath, and then with their knife, they remove the bark like that, all the way along. They actually clean the wood. Take a look at this one, it's ebony. The guys from the town of Tamatave, who buy the wood from these poachers, they're buying it at 1,000 ariary, or 25 euro cents a piece. Ebony or non-ebony, it gets sold. 1,000 ariary, just like that.
Although ebony wood is rare, it was only in 2008 that it became illegal to harvest and process it. Before, it was a lucrative and legal source of income.
Back then, we didn't know that it was bad to cut the wood, and we were earning 18,000 ariary, or €4.50 a day. That's a lot of money. We could buy about 40 kilos of rice with that much.
In a country where the minimum wage amounts to 45 euros a month, the quick cash of the world of illegal logging is tempting for many. But it comes at a massive cost to the natural environment. In the last 60 years, almost half of Madagascar's forestation has disappeared. For the herder communities of South Sudan, this field of cattle is effectively a living bank account. For many, this is their only source of income, an asset seen as more important than currency. So it's no surprise that these prized animals are often the subject of cattle raids. But after the outbreak of civil war, guns replaced traditional spears as the weapon of choice for raids and defence against them.
It's good to have a weapon, because it helps you to protect the cattle from people who want to steal them.
Since the signing of a power-sharing truce in September 2018, bloodshed from the conflict has lessened, but has increased in cattle raids.
Cattle raids have become violent because of the weapons. Back when we used to fight with spears, nobody died.
In the Nuer and Dinka cultures, the country's two most important herder communities, the cow is everything. The reverence of cattle even finds its way into marriage customs. In South Sudan, it's common practice for men to purchase a wife in exchange for a given amount of cows, or to use cattle as a dowry.
The best cow in South Sudan could cost $700, $600 per cow. So, and that is the first class cow. So you can see how important a cow is in society. If you have hundreds of cattle, you have millions of dollars, of course, at the end of the day.
According to the UN peacekeeping mission in South Sudan, 218 members of herder communities were killed this January in tit-for-tat attacks. Almost 3 times more than were killed in the 4 months from October 2017 to January 2018.
Anti-Nigerian Football Federation demonstrators gathered outside Nigeria's High Court in Abuja, which has ordered that 4 top football bosses face trial for corruption, accused with the theft of millions of dollars meant to develop the game. The case examines a raft of charges, from failure to declare their assets to the alleged theft of more than €7 million paid by the world governing body FIFA to Nigeria for participation in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. And finally, Franco-Senegalese director Mati Diop won the Grand Prix for her first feature, Atlantics, at this year's Cannes Film Festival. It portrays the struggle of young African men who risk everything to reach Europe, and of the women they leave behind. That's all from us at Africa Weekly. Until next week.